We have a big announcement from last week. The one and only Colin Cloud announcing finally his brand new show here in Las Vegas called Mastermind at Harrah's. And that is coming up later on this summer. And I'm very thankful, very happy to have the man himself live with me for you guys, straight from Las Vegas, the one and only Colin Cloud. What's up, buddy?
Good evening. How are you?
Much better now, man. It's damn good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm amazing. I'm exhausted, but I am amazing.
That'll work. Well, Colin, man, you have been rocking Vegas for years now. You and Shin Lim have been killing it at the Mirage, and now it's your turn to put a stamp on Vegas with your own name, your own show here on the Strip. First things first, congratulations, man. That's a really big deal.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I just want you to follow me around in real life with these sound effects and just punctuate moments. This is this is the dream. This is the dream.
It's like walking in a room having your own theme song, right? That's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. No complaints. Yeah, man, it is crazy. I've been honored to be at the Mirage in Shin Lim's show for the past 5 years, and just watching that thing evolve and progress has been phenomenal. I mean, I honestly never thought I would have the opportunity to end up here. And now, even today, this afternoon, I was in Harrah's in the room, like starting to look at teching the show. And I was showing my dressing room, and my dressing room is Matt King's old dressing room. So to just be part of even that magic history is kind of madness. And it's starting to become very real, is the truth.
Well, now that the cat is out of the bag, why don't we kind of break down a couple of the details on the when? When can people start buying tickets? Obviously, we know that, but they don't.
Yeah.
And what days of the week and the times and all the specifics, and then we'll get into kind of you talking about some other stuff, and maybe if we have time, we'll even have some people call in and ask you a couple questions if we have.
Yeah,
a few
totally.
moments,
So tickets are on sale now. The show opens on. I love that your graphics are better than anything I could ever do for like my real life, and you've just thrown them together perfectly for a one-off. Go you! But yeah, tickets available now. The easiest way is go to colincloud.com. The get tickets link is right there at the top. The show opens July 2nd at Harrah's at 6 p.m. I'm there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm not on Sunday, Monday, but I'm on every other day, Tuesday through Saturday.
Nice. And we're going to see some of your, TV appearances and you kind of rocking things all over the world. I know you've done a lot of Fringe Fest and things like that that have kind of gotten you to the point where now you're, having your own freaking show. For people that have always wanted to do something like this, maybe talk about the journey quickly as we take a look at some of your accolades and, of course,
Yeah. I mean, I think the big thing is I hope what I've been able to do is stand out, be different, take something that everyone has accessible to them, which in my case is more the mentalism stuff, and just really try and find my own way of doing it, way of utilizing these presentations and these opportunities to do something that's kind of unlike what anyone else has done, would do. And I think that's the big thing, right? Is, we can all love the same tricks, but when you find how to put your own voice to them, that's when you start getting noticed. And I hope that is what has allowed me to evolve, progress, advance, and now ultimately have my own Vegas residency.
Yeah. And you were kind enough to share some advice a few months back, might have been close to a year now, when we were doing our Magic Mondays, kind of giving people advice on, that have never felt comfortable in front of an audience, how to get more comfortable. And your advice was golden, where you talked about find easy things to do that focus on presentation and then allow you to feel more in the moment on stage and actually feel like you're there and comfortable. When you shared that advice, I had the question in the back of my head, how long did it take you before you really started to feel comfortable on a stage in front of a lot of people?
Oh, still not there yet. Still, still a long way to go. It's funny because I am really actually quite introverted and quiet off stage. I have never had any desire to be the center of attention. Like when I'm not on stage and people are like, "Can you do a trick?" I'm like, "No." I'm not usually that guy. So, I think for on stage, it's a muscle that I've built up now over time and gotten way better at being comfortable in that environment and knowing that I'm in control there. But yeah, I mean, I think the advice to paraphrase it for people is, it's all great, fine and well, having these advanced tricks that we love. But if you're not yet quite fully comfortable performing and connecting with people, it can be two things you're trying to do at once. Whereas when you actually break it down and start with easy stuff and get used to dealing with and managing people, you can then integrate the much more intricate types of routines that you want to perform.
Yeah. Speaking of routines, Justin Timmons says your framing of the ring flight is the best you've seen. That is a great.
Thank you. Yeah, that was in the show for a while. I did that in my Fringe show, and I did that in Limitless for like about 2 years actually. Yeah, my mentalist take on ring flight, which was a very bizarre thing for a mentalist to do. But I always love incorporating weird things that a mentalist wouldn't typically utilize and trying to find that more cerebral approach to presenting it.
Right. Right on. Um, your advice obviously comes with years and years and years of wisdom and performing. The getting that time in front of an audience is key. How long have you actually been performing? Professionally or even semi-professionally? Because I know a lot of people know who you are now, but how long have
Mhm.
you actually been doing this to get where you are now?
I think when I was like 15 years old, I had joined like a local magic club and started doing tricks for people. But at 15, I met a guy, a mentalist in Scotland called Drew McAdam, and he really pushed me to get out in front of audiences and start trying stuff in front of people. So I would say 15 years old is when I kind of started performing for audiences, and I was dreadful, but I learned the lessons,
Mhm.
started improving, and yeah, it's kind of just evolved from that. But I think 15 years old, but by no means was I good to start with. Please bear that in mind.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but you got to start somewhere, right? If you're not bad, you can never be good. So
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. We're also getting some nice comments about your background. I know that during COVID, when the lockdown was going on, you jumped into the virtual world game, and it looks like you've kind of kept your setup going. It looks great over there, man.
Yeah. I just have a lot of meetings online, so it's always kind of nice to just have this professional look that feels like I live in some sort of hipster treehouse, right? It's just it's not a bad vibe. So yeah, and I find it when I'm in here a lot writing and developing ideas and materials. So to have like a nice setup, it's
Yeah.
just like quite calming and relaxing, and just allows me to come in here, chill out, and get loads of work done. But yeah, I will say I do not. I think I did one virtual show like a few months ago, but
Mhm.
definitely do not miss having to do virtual shows. As much as it's great, we can still all interact like this. I don't miss having to perform down a camera lens compared to embracing
Yeah.
people in real life is the truth.
Yeah, there's just nothing like it. Sometimes I even wonder how people, even with just social media, how that can feel normal or good. Because for me, it's all about the connection with the audience, and then just doing that all the time. I always wondered about the disconnect, and it's a different
Yeah, I mean,
world
I will
now.
say,
Yeah.
I think with mentalism, I got really lucky in that I've always been good at just chatting to people now in the zone of the mentalism, and it's all about people and their thoughts. So when I really cracked how to do virtual shows, I felt, way better about it. They did become quite enjoyable. It was nice to just walk down the hall, 20 steps and be able to flip a switch and do a show, but it's never going to be the same as coming to see me live in Harrah's at 6 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday as of July 2nd.
Hell yeah, July 2nd. I love it, man. It's just right around the corner. Yeah,
That's
right around the
crazy.
freaking corner.
Yeah, it's
We have
funny because these things obviously take months and months of preparation, right? So I've known about this for a long time, and just having to sit on something like this and not be able to mention it is, as magicians, I think we are ironically the worst at keeping secrets, and
Mm.
to have to sit on that information was torture.
Well, you did a good job, man. You did a
Thanks,
good job, and
thank
you're
you.
right. You ask a magician, you want to find someone not to tell a secret to. It's usually a magician because yeah, they'll
Yeah,
they'll, they'll blab. Yeah, yeah,
for real.
yeah. We do have our first caller coming in here. I want to go ahead and bring him in, Mr. Ryan Wallace. How are you, Ryan?
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's good. Good to see
Right,
you,
dude.
man.
Thank you for being
Yeah,
here.
it's awesome being here. So, Colin, I actually have a very funny story of one of the performances that I saw you at. Honestly, it's almost over 10 years ago now. You were with the Masters of Illusion touring on them because I remember Kevin James was with them, and you guys were in my hometown of Utica, New York. And I remember you had actually chosen me for one of your mentalism effects because one of the things that I wrote down for it for like a funny story or a weird story was when I was younger and had first got into magic. I had actually, being a little bit of a brat back then, I had actually basically almost gotten $20 taken from me by a magician a long time ago with that. And I remember your show, or at least your part of the show, very well because you were able to predict the last four digits of my phone number, and I had not even said anything to you about what my phone number was. And you actually had them written on like a little like a beat like I guess like a bead bracelet or something. The last four digits of my phone number for that one. So that that routine just stood out to me.
Yeah,
For
so
things to
funny
do
you
with
say
that.
that. I've not done. Do you know what that routine? It was like my take on the Q&A act, the infamous mentalist Q&A act, where people write down thoughts, put it in a box. And I did that because we went back to Toronto for a second season, and
Mm.
I'd already done my main material there, so I had to come up with
Uh,
this other routine. And I wanted to replicate that image from the movie The Illusionist with Edward Norton, where
ah.
he just stands on
Mhm.
stage and knows everything about everyone. And I think when we left Toronto, we came to New York first, to the state of New
Mhm.
York, and we realized how difficult that routine actually was to do on tour. So we very quickly took it back out. It was great for a sit down run. But yeah, being able to get that information and have that bracelet made quickly and on the fly was a lot trickier on tour than it was when you were in
Mm.
a venue for a while. So I am glad you're probably one of the only people outside of Toronto
Wow.
who got to experience that moment. And yeah, I hope you treasure it forever.
It was an amazing show getting to see that. And I actually have a question for you because you just mentioned how you still are not exactly the most comfortable being on stage when you're performing. I heard from some other magicians a long time ago and some history that I've done. One of the most famous magicians of the past, Howard Thurston, he actually before a show used to always think of as he was going on that when he would go on how he would be like just thanking the audience as he was prepping to go on to thank the audience for them to come out. Do you kind of incorporate that a little bit as well too when you do your stage act?
I do, and I'm looking at my phone because I actually put this on my Instagram a while ago, and it's funny because even Justin Willman screenshotted this, and
Hmm.
a few weeks ago, before Justin went on stage, he actually texted me a photo of it. He has now printed this out and put it in his case, and he takes it with him everywhere. But basically, before I walk on stage, I want to read the list because sometimes I don't remember them in
Hmm.
order. But I always
Hmm.
remind myself that this could be my last show. Right? Anything could happen after
Really?
this, and this could be my last
Ah.
show. So I remember that. I remember this is the first time someone in this audience is seeing live magic. It's also the last time someone in this
Ah.
audience will see live magic. I also remind myself that people, let me turn the music off this. Some people traveled really far to see it. Some people had to spend a lot of money to be there. And some people are there to just escape. So I remind myself of all of that. And I remind myself to be present, grateful, giving, love the audience, and walk
Ah.
out and play. And I try and go through as much of that as I can before I walk on stage at the Mirage every night or any corporate event, private show that I do,
Hmm.
just so that I remind myself how grateful I should be to be with them
Hmm.
and walk out there with that enthusiasm. It just puts you in a different mindset and it makes it feel like we're here together rather than it's you against them.
Wow, that's amazing advice.
Good. Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, and I will say it comes from a collection of people. It comes from my best friend, David Gerard, who
Hmm.
has massively influenced my thinking on gratitude and being present. Joshua J. Some of that comes
Hmm.
from some things I read in his book, and then just my own thoughts and feelings, and just wanting that to come across every single time. And even when I'm having a really really bad day, I remind myself of all those things and how lucky I am to be there, and walk out and give it all those things, and it's like therapy.
Wow,
All right.
that's awesome.
So it
Cool.
is on my Instagram somewhere. You need to scroll down a little bit, but it is there. And yeah, but it was really nice of Wilman to text me that photo and be like, even someone who I love and respect as much as Wilman has looked at
Hmm.
this and gone, yeah, I get it. So yeah, enjoy.
Cool. Well, thanks
Yep.
for calling in, Ryan. Appreciate you, man. We
Yep.
got some other callers too, so I'm going to let you run. But thank you for being here, man. Thanks for joining us.
Sounds good.
All right.
Look,
Cool.
I just want to check, just want to make sure it is Taco Tuesday, so I'm assuming everyone's eating tacos while we're doing this. Is that the goal?
A lot of people are eating tacos. Not me tonight, but yes, that is what's usually going
Sweet.
on
So
Taco
I'm not
Tuesday.
eating tacos, but I did bring a rice bowl with chicken. So I am going to eat in the background. My lovely girlfriend Jenna has just dropped this off, and I'm gonna smash this while we chat magic.
Well, you know what's funny? My wife's usually the one bringing me food. She's usually bringing me food as I'm chatting. Tonight it's just sake for me. I've got a big old thing of sake, so it's
Love it.
a very
Love it.
relaxed thing. It's actually funny you mentioned that, Colin. I'm gonna hop off of you for 1 sec. I want to show you this. One of our friends tonight, watching tonight's show, actually put a post up earlier on what they're eating. I think you can still see me here. This was our friend. Looks like they had a whole spread tonight. Tommy Schnepp, that was his dinner, as you can see right there. A big ass box of tacos and rice and some chips, and that's the whole thing there. So yeah, our friends eat tacos, and you're blending right in. So
I love
good
it.
on you.
I love it. Yeah, that is a lot of tacos. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
You know,
oh yeah, man.
tacos are not a big thing in the UK. Like when I first came here, my friends were like, Brandon Queen in LA was like, "Let's go get tacos." I'm just like, this looks like a really wimpy fajita. It looks like someone was trying to make a fajita and gave up too soon. That is what this feels like. But I have since I've come around. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, good amount of tacos, my friend. Well done.
Yeah. Speaking of friends, we have another good friend popping on now. This is John Shackelford. John is one of our buddies over in Oklahoma, and I'm sure John's got some great questions for you, or he's just a great guy. John's a creative guy, comes up with a lot of amazing magic of his own, but this is John Shack.
Very kind of you. I appreciate it very much, Luke. How are you, sir? Nice to meet you. I don't believe we've ever met in person. Luke had mentioned earlier that you went on a run and you were, getting showered and everything ready to rock and roll. And then you yourself mentioned that you sit in that room often and you write and stuff. I'm a guy that kind of has a lot going on, and I don't feel like I have a grasp on getting all the tasks done on all the time. So I was just kind of curious what an average day for you looks like.
Dude, I will also say that today I have been a bit of a functioning mess because I forgot I had a meeting at Harrah's. I thought it was tomorrow. So in amongst my day of usually I'm organized, right? But just this week with interviews and different things for the show coming out. But usually I've got a Google Doc and it breaks down my day. But bear in mind, unlike people who are maybe semi-professional and have a job and a respectable job during the day. I'm very lucky that I only do this at night. So I have then my full day to do house chores and, go out, play with the cats and do laundry and all that stuff as well that needs to get done. But I try and, I get up early with my girlfriend. We have breakfast together and spend some time together in the morning. I then try and come straight home and work out immediately because I hate it. I want to do it while I'm still half asleep. And then that way, by the time I'm kind of fully awake at 11 a.m., I'm in a better spot, showered and then brunch time and then in my office. And then I start writing. I spend a lot of the time writing, presentations and jokes are the two main things because I think the best methods I'll need in my head are already kind of locked in of what I like to do and how I can manipulate them. So I spend a lot of my day just writing new themes for how I present mentalism in weird and wonderful ways. And just a lot of time writing jokes and thinking about the show the night before, at the moment, like at the Mirage, and thinking, what could I have said in those moments where I wish I'd had a better ad lib? And I'm more than problem solving from the night before so that when I turn up to the Mirage at night, I usually, pick up my girlfriend. She finishes work. We eat at the Mirage around 6 p.m. on stage between 7 and 9, and then back home. And I've gotten a lot better now at not having late nights. Like when I toured, I think the last caller said Masters of Illusion. It was actually the Illusionists, live from Broadway. I was on that show. But I used to be up late. The dancers wanted to party all the time, and it was nightclubs. And I'm done with that. I like to be in bed now by 11 p.m. watching Netflix, and I'm usually still writing on my iPad. Like I really struggle to switch off, but it's because I love this stuff. And my brain's just, when I'm relaxed in here in the afternoon or in bed at night, my brain's just buzzing with ideas and solving problems. And yeah. But try and work out early, 2 meals a day, and writing in the afternoon, show at night, done.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to figure out how to cram all the things in and also have creative life.
Yeah, man. There's never enough time, right? And I think I'm also now learning to say no to certain things as well, sadly. And a lot of time my friends will invite me out at like 1 a.m. They're like, we're going to this nightclub in Vegas. We'll get VIP entry. Do you want to come? And it's like, on one hand, it would be cool to go experience that. And on the other hand, I'm just like, I could just stay in bed. And sometimes I've just learned I need to rest because if I don't, it just throws everything else off. and it takes me so long to then get it lined up again. But especially at the moment when it's like I've got so many things happening, because I have obviously currently the priority is Limitless with Shin, because it's live, it's active, and I want to be present and fresh for every audience that comes to see that. Then it's the show at Harrah, my own show. I'm doing the Edinburgh Festival in August, so I want to make sure that that's a completely different show. I want to make sure that it's solid as well. And on top of that, I'm also currently, I think you'll find out this week, I'm a finalist on Britain's Got Talent with Ben Hart and Elizabeth. We're doing like a magic ensemble thing. And I agreed to that when I thought I was going to have a lot more free time this summer. And all of a sudden, I don't. So, thankfully, I'm surrounded by great people like my girlfriend, like David Gerard, like Ben Hart, my promoter, Bill Faulkner, who just keep me up, focused, on board, delegating some of the stuff that I can, outsource, and just learning to utilize other experts. And I'm a bit of a control freak, but learning to trust other people and give some stuff to them. I'm very, very lucky that I do have amazing people around me who help me shine. So very, very grateful of those people as well, who keep me focused and also can take some of the workload as well.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for answering the question, man.
Thank you for asking like a question that doesn't involve playing cards, because I would fail there. A real life question I can do.
Sure. Have a good one.
You too, man. Thank you.
All right. That was a really good question, because, the life of a performer is not something everyone gets to experience. So, thanks for taking a little peek behind the curtain. Yeah.
And it's funny, right? Because I struggle, because Jenna and I, we got Switches last year. And I always feel when we're playing against each other, Mario Kart, it's great to switch off and sharing that. But when I've tried to sit and play computer games alone, I get really guilty. Like, I should be doing something. I should be writing. I should be... I don't know why, like just this weird imposter syndrome, I think, kind of creeping in as well, right? So just always want to be improving, progressing, and evolving. I think that is that's the big thing. I hope that's what's helped keep me fresh and relevant in all these different markets, is that I am constantly trying to evolve and improve.
Love it. I also want to give a shout out to our buddy Michael Dawkin, who's currently at the Magic Collectors Expo in Long Beach. I think they're actually staying on the Queen Mary, which is kind of a cool vibe over there.
Wow.
So he's joining us. I had a question in the chat from our friend Russell. Russell was asking, how did it work? Did Harrah's approach you, or did you approach Harrah's? How did that relationship kind of become a thing now?
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure I can talk about most of the journey here, but
okay.
Limitless with Shin Lim, the master of close-up magic, the man who, in my opinion, pioneered taking magic to the camera and putting it on a huge stage, right? I mean, arguably the biggest name in magic in the world right now, who's currently actively doing stuff. To be in his show, it's been the best window shop for people to see me in Vegas, and for him to when he first asked me to do it, I assumed I would be doing 20 minutes at the top of the show, hyping him up, introducing him, off he goes. But he was a gentleman, and he's like, no, you come out, then me, then you, then me. And it's it's classic Shin, right? To turn stuff on its head and do it in a way that you wouldn't expect it. And it's really worked, and I will always feel like the duo that we have is kind of perfect. The way that we complement and contrast each other's magic and styles so perfectly without either of us being too goofy or over the top. Like, it's just like, the synergy has been amazing, and I'm always going to be incredibly grateful for this opportunity. Before I actually joined with Shin, I thought it was going to be a 3-month project, and I was done. I'd actually been approached years ago because my promoter in the UK, they're called Gag Reflex, that's their real name, but they've always looked after Tape Face, and he got his own room in Vegas, and I was asked, do you want to come and be the early show in there? And I was like, I don't know if I want to be in Vegas yet. So actually there was that opportunity years ago, and I also don't think the timing would have been right. I think going away, building my profile, my brand, and just improving as a performer, like being ready for this opportunity, right? I think a lot of the time people go for opportunities like an America's Got Talent, and the reality is they're maybe not as ready as they could be.
Yeah.
And it's like you get one chance to do it, and like I wouldn't want anyone to blow that opportunity for themselves. So I'm really glad that I didn't do it then. But over the years, different people, MGM, Caesars, Venetian, different entertainment companies in Vegas have all come to see me, and kind of when I knew my contract with Shin was coming to an end, started having my manager Bill Harrah reach out and just discuss where do we take this, and that's when he introduced me to Bill Voltner. Bill Harrah's Bill Voltner, great friends, because Matt King is managed like I am by Bill Harrah's for corporate and private bookings. So they've got a close relationship, and Bill Harrah said to Bill Voltner, "You should speak to Colin." And he and I hit it off immediately. And it was then more Bill Voltner who I said, look, here's who I've kind of had reach out to me. And he had contacts as well because he's been with Mac now for 25 years. And he said, well, look, let me speak to my people as well. And, you know, kudos to Bill Voltner for really taking the reins here and bringing in the right people to chat to me and to meet with. And yeah, so I suppose it's a combination of having the product, having the right sales person, the promoter, the producer, Bill Voltner, come in and see it, and then know what to do with that and what rooms to look at, what people to speak to, having those connections, and that's kind of like how it all came together.
Wow. The puzzle pieces all just slowly.
Yeah. You know, and I mean, to be in a situation where these venues are showing you around their rooms and talking to you about which one do you want to be in, and it's just like it's surreal. You know, I do not take any of this for granted, and yeah,
cool.
super grateful to. I think I've picked the best room. You know, I think to go any bigger to start with would have been a little more stressful. Whereas the room that I'm in is the old tape face room when he was with Harrah's. He was in this room for a few years. So even at Edinburgh, I've kind of followed Sam's trajectory where he played a certain venue. Then the year later, I would go into that venue. Then he would, because he's outgrown it. And then I would. So it's funny how I've always kind of looked up to tape face as kind of a bit of a hero in a sense. With regards to taking what I do and the sort of levels and where to pitch it, and you know, seeing his show in that room was amazing, and now to be in that room is just going to be mind blowing.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that how funny is it that you had the opportunity before, and now you're in the room that he was in before. So yeah,
I know, it's hilarious.
Yeah, very serendipitous. I love it. Very cool.
Yep. Everything for a reason.
I know this is kind of a generic question, but I'm going to drop it because our friend asked it, and that's why we're doing this live. David first wants to know, what are you working on now? Now, obviously, you have a brand new show that you have to get together to open in July, but is there anything in particular?
David, is this not enough for you? Like, I am sweating over here, dude. Just calm down. Jeez. Rinsing Colin for all that. Yeah. What I'm working on, obviously, Mastermind at Harrah's. My show Consequences that will run for the month of August in Edinburgh. Britain's Got Talent. Like even this morning on phone calls with Ben Hart, with Elizabeth, with Russ Stevens, like just a phenomenal lineup of magicians to be in a Zoom call with, right? You know, that's amazing. And on top of that, just trying to stay fit and healthy and present and grateful for, you know, every day that I'm here able to do this is enough. I mean, there's talk of this is not like an exclusive or anything, but looking at maybe doing a book at some point. I've not released anything in a while, but you know, I think starting to write a book now about this journey and pick it up from this point and almost the book would do three things. It would like look back at where I've been, look at what I'm going through presently, and by the end be able to reflect, but also be teaching, you know, routines and stuff throughout it as well. I think it's a very unique situation, and speaking to some people about maybe doing that, but also I don't know if I can, if I have the bandwidth to anything I do. I want it to be perfect, right? So I want to make sure that when I do that, it's done the best it possibly can be, and we will see.
Cool. A great question that just popped on from our guest from a few moments ago, John Shackelford. He wants to know, and I think all of us want to know, you know, that dreaded time of year, Colin Cloud is a Vegas resident. Now, you know, Magic Live will be here before you know it, and you get an influx of people wanting free tickets and people wanting to hang out and yada, yada, yada. John wants to know, though, is your new show going to be running during the time of Magic Live?
This is where I feel like I have been a genius because I'm taking August off to go to the Edinburgh Festival. You know, it's funny because The reason I did August last year, the Fringe, for a week because I hadn't done it in a number of years because of moving here, because of COVID, and I did 5 nights with a show called After Dark, and it was a very personal show, and I ended up winning one of the Critic Choice Awards for that show, the Broadway Baby Critic Choice Award, which even to win that award, usually you would need to be there for the full month to get the buzz, to get people to notice it. But because that show that I did was so different, it was a look at mental health more than it was just a mentalism show. And because of the traction and the buzz around what I was talking about and the subject matter, it seemed to really resonate. So I won the award, and on my last night, they brought me back out on stage, presented with the award. Now Mike Birbiglia is on stage with me because he's starting the night after I finish, so he's there hugging me, giving it congratulations. So that's surreal. And then the director of the Underbelly, which is the promoter of that show in the UK, it's one of like the major venues, approached me and said, "Hey, can we sign you right now for the full month next year?" And I was on a high, and I just went, "Absolutely, let's agree to that right now. It seems like a great idea." And then, of course, 3 months later, you realize you're in negotiations for a Vegas residency, and you're like, "Cool, let's open July, perfect." And then you're like, "One thing, I know we're opening in July. How's about we close immediately?" So good to keep people on their toes, right? Just yeah.
David
I
says,
remember like we were going to do the thing where we say, yeah, opening for limited time only, and it's like an exclusive, knowing full well I'm coming back, and then we were like, nah, no nonsense. Let's just get straight into we're opening. You're now a Las Vegas headliner, and I was like, great, I am all about that.
love it. It's funny. We just had a peek at one of your cats, and David says, when you're touring, your cats must really miss you. Yeah, because I mean, when you're away, those are your babies, man. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. They have been lingering in the background. You might notice them occasionally jump up on furniture. Do you know? I will say, when I did The Illusionist, the hardest thing was being away from my cats, not even my family, because your family you can FaceTime daily, right?
Yep.
But the cats, they don't know. So that was always really hard. That was rough being away from the cats.
Yeah.
That's why it's been amazing being locked into Vegas for so long, because I get to hang out with them every day. Even though we did get a new cat, he's 1 year old. He's very nocturnal and likes to keep us up all through the night. And the other two are amazing at sleeping from like 10 till 7, but he just wants to jump on everyone's face. So
of course,
yeah. Little
also wanted to give some love to another Vegas headliner that's showing some love for you. Farrell Dillon says congratulations as well.
Thank you, Farrell. He and I had a great hangout. I think it was at Magic Live. I think that's what it was a few years ago. We did a panel show together, and hanging out with Daryl was a real highlight of that event. And he's avoided me ever since, so I must have made like a really no. I'm sure we're just busy boys, right? But yeah, I'm excited to have more free time to be able to go out and explore and see Daryl's show at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club, just down from the Link Hotel. I hear nothing but amazing things, and I hear he has the best thimble magic routine known to man. So very excited to see that live.
Yep. Rainbow. Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Speaking of Vegas, we had another good question pop in. Let me just find it real quick. It was from another Colin, actually. Colin McNamara, our buddy in the New York area, wants to know, what's your favorite food in Vegas? You're a local. You've been here a minute. Do you have any favorite spots in town that you've found for yourself?
Do you know Skinny Fats, Luke? Do you ever go to Skinny Fats?
I know it, but I
yeah. Oh, right. Okay. This is from there. They do like amazing, like random dishes. But where is my girlfriend is sitting off to the side. Where would my favorite place be? What would it be? Oh, there's a place. Yeah, Costa in the Mirage. There's an Italian restaurant in the Mirage called Costa.
Okay.
And like I've eaten in loads of Italian restaurants in Vegas around the world, but I think Costa has the best dish on the planet. It's a alla vodka pasta sauce with spicy sausage through it. Oh man, I need to be careful that I don't eat it every day because I don't burn carbs the way I used to when I exercise. So it's like it's a real treat when I get that. But Costa in the Mirage is amazing. Otherwise, Skinny Fats. I love Tao. You must have been to Tao, Luke, right? You've gone there? Yeah. I love Tao. Like Tao is a night out though, right? Like it's an experience if you're going to do it. So
Yeah.
I love towel, but I do for the most part try and eat healthy. Like I'm back to oatmeal every morning and then protein and veggies and salad at night. So tonight's a treat. I get rice tonight as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's yeah, it's
I
just
could take a page out of that book, man. I need to get more in that. I need to think more like you for sure.
it's just
It's true.
discipline, right? It's just
I just keep
discipline.
pushing it
Like,
off. Yeah.
yeah, man. Yeah. Mm.
Oh yeah, another good question here. Because we haven't really gotten too much into your back story. David De Harrah, what magician inspired you the most growing up? You know, obviously we have a lot of influences to even get into this stuff. That's a good little a mini origin. I know that could go on for a really long time, but what even got
Yeah.
you into this stuff, Colin?
I'll
Like,
high
what
level a
was it
few
that made
things.
you?
I mean, obviously Darren Brown was huge, right?
Yeah.
Him, Nyman, Andrew O'Connor, Anthony Owen, at the time coming up with how to revolutionize mentalism. I mean, every mentalist from here forward needs to be forever grateful for the work that those guys did. They are Darren as the front man, but that group are the pioneers of modern mentalism, in my opinion. But for me, it was never really magicians. I loved Sherlock Holmes. Like I for a year must have been at least. I assumed Sherlock Holmes, as we can see all the sort of motif here. I thought he was a real person, so I assumed, well, if that guy can do it, then I can learn to do it. And I was really into science and taking things apart and putting them back together. Then discovered psychology and hypnosis, which is more about putting people back together and apart. And so, like, I loved that. Um, and then I got really into comedy. Like I as a kid, I more loved comedy than I did magic. I loved understanding why things were funny. I loved it with nothing other than words. I mean, there's more to it. There's body language, there's tone, there's delivery, there's timing. But with nothing more than words, people could connect people and make them laugh. And I just wanted to master that. So if anything, my background was more in comedy. And I think, people that I love now are like Anthony Jeselnik, Jimmy Carr, James Acaster, people who have a really, really well refined and defined character. They know what that is, and that is what drives all of their comedy. That was what I wanted to achieve, especially watching Jimmy Carr in the UK growing up. That for me was always like the big thing was like understanding why things were funny and trying to find my own ways to do that.
Cool. I will say, and you know me, man, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to blow smoke up your rear end just to make you feel good, but you have found a beautiful way to mix kind of like comedy with mentalism. It's a very delicate thing, comedy to begin with as a magician, but you start
Yeah.
dropping that into mentalism, like you found such a nice way to just blend the two together where
Thanks,
it doesn't
man.
feel
Yeah, it was a
doesn't feel
real learning
forced,
because I never wanted the comedy to step on the wow moments. Like fundamentally, people are there to be wowed, right? If they want comedy, go to a comedy club. But
Yeah.
I did want, I mean, so much of mentalism is procedural, it's boring, it's drawn out, it's tedious. And then I was around Shin Lim, who was doing Dream Act, where you get 1,000 magic reveals a minute,
Yeah.
and it's like, why can't mentalism be that? And that kind of did inspire me a bit to look at the mentalism I was doing and going, right, how do I 10x this and make it modern day YouTube audience, TikTok audience friendly, where it doesn't diminish the power, but it makes it more desirable to people, and it holds their attention more than just 20 minutes to reveal the long word that someone thought of in a weird book that they've never heard of, So yeah, that was what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah. A good question from David Parr, who's also, in your world of the mentalism and the goodness. He'd love to get inside your head. Creative process question: how do you record ideas and then build them into a show? That's always a big one when you add new stuff, into your act. So
yeah, I mean, literally, without revealing too many spoilers, but I've got like notepads everywhere. I've got blackboards, I've got post-its on walls, I've got 20 different emails that I leave emails open in my not quite sent yet, but for different, one for jokes, one for presentation ideas, and I'm basically constantly anything I think of, I know that I need to write it down immediately or it's gone forever, right?
Mhm.
So I am constantly, any little idea, like even today I had lunch with Eric Dittelman and I was telling him about the ending idea for Edinburgh. And he said one thing about what could be happening in the background of some, and I'm like, oh my God, like, and immediately phone out and I write it down because if I don't, I'm going to lose it. So I'm constantly taking notes of things. And then on certain days, I will sit down and I'll organize all those ideas into the relevant what routines they would go for or what I think I could turn them into as a routine. and I often like write out individual post-its, and then on the top of the wall I put, you know, trick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They all go here, and then when they're in the right place, I then go, right, what's the order for that one? Cool, rearrange it. And it's basically, you said, you know, the puzzle pieces earlier for getting a show in Vegas. It's the exact same for creating a show for anywhere, right? I'm constantly adding post-its, taking post-its off, and ultimately trying to improve every aspect of what it is I'm doing.
Cool. Love it. Yeah, it's always a work in progress, right? That's
Oh,
cool.
dude, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when I was touring with Illusionist, the 3 routines I would watch every night were Jeff Hobson Egg Bag, Kevin James Floating Rose, and Dan Sperry Coin and Arm, because those were 3 other people interacting with audience members in their own unique way, and watching every night it be different and still amazing. I'll add to that David Williamson doing the Raccoon when we were on the West End together, but watching those guys handle audience members and just learning so much from that, like, those were the only, I watched the show when I could, but those were the ones I would, every night side of stage, I would watch those religiously to see what those guys were up to and how they were treating and handling the audience members. Kevin with the kid, Dan with the girl, and Jeff with the guy in the audience, women on stage. Like, it was yeah, beyond being paid to do that tour, that was the real takeaway, was watching those 3 masters.
Love it. Question from our good friend, Mr. Ron Jackson. I like to call him Action Jackson. I think you know why. I went through phases where I tried different styles of magic. Did you go through different styles before you found your current style?
So what I will say is that when I think about magic, I don't consider myself just a mentalist. You heard earlier that I do ring flight. I also love rubber band magic. I play with rubber bands loads just because it's something to sit and, you know, keep myself occupied, to mess about with. But I often think of it more in terms of what would Sherlock Holmes be able to do. And if Sherlock Holmes can play the violin, then I can play the violin. If he can pick locks, which he can, then so can I. If he can escape them from things, so can I. So I more look at it like that. Like, what would my character be able to do? And then I find ways of doing that through different types of magic. I mean, the only reason I found Sonata gimmicks for like the booklist test that I released way back at the beginning of my publishing career was by buying sponge balls and playing with them and going, okay, I can't think of much with the sponge ball, but this little weird thing, what about if? And it started triggering all these other thoughts. For a while during COVID, I'd never done silk magic before, so I bought dye tubes, silks, and spent time learning that. I don't know, like, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, maybe I thought maybe there's a cool prediction in your pocket square that's been in your pocket the full time, but someone off stage hands you a dye tube. You take your pocket square, you say, look, before I show you this, it is important that you know. And then, you know, because I had the David Hasselhoff thing written on the thing, and I thought, if someone off stage and I use a dye tube to switch it, no one's doing a prediction with a dye tube and a silk. So I love absorbing all of this and then thinking about how can I use it in a weird and wonderful way. And in fact, my Edinburgh show After Dark ended with me performing the razor blade routine. Scott Alexander was working with me on that. The last time I spoke to him was 5 days, sadly, before he passed. But Scott Alexander was working with me on learning his razor blade routine, and that's what closed the show in Edinburgh last year.
Wow, that's wild. You know, you mentioned Edinburgh. You know, the Fringe Fest that you do pretty much yearly. That might, you know, I wonder if that'll continue now that you're going to be a Vegas headliner on your own. But how do you try to differentiate what you're doing in Vegas to there? Because from what I understand, and I haven't, you know, made it over there, you're trying to make what you do there different than what you're doing here. Is that true? Is that right?
I think Vegas basically is the Edinburgh Festival, but 365 days a year, right? That is the way to think about it. It's just intense, overwhelming, in your face, all this stimulation from lights, from music, from the buzz. It's just that in Edinburgh, right? So Edinburgh's like 1,000 years old. And as a city was not built to hold entertainment, certainly not. It has 4,800 shows a day, right? That's how many, like, it's everywhere in Edinburgh becomes a venue. Pub corner. In fact, it's an amazing Netflix series called Baby Reindeer, which we're going a little off topic here. It's a little dark. It's very funny, but it's also very serious. But they show like him at the Edinburgh Festival in the corner of a pub. And when you're a new act, a lot of the time you are in the corner of a pub doing your act to like 20 people before you build up to then having an actual black box room and then a theater, and there's a real progression there. And when I do Edinburgh, I'm better known in the UK than I am here. So I have a bit more flexibility to have a theme or a narrative or a purpose, ultimately, right? To take the audience on a journey and tell a story from beginning to end. Whereas I think when people come to see a show in Vegas, they're here to gamble, to drink, to party. And I think the show here then, it needs to accommodate a sort of wider audience. It can't be quite as deep and perhaps meaningful all the way through. I think you earn a moment or two of that when they trust you and buy into you and the narrative of how good you are at what you do, without being egotistical. They need to trust you and feel like they're in safe hands. But I think in Vegas, the show needs to be more accommodating of just people turning up wanting to be entertained. Whereas I feel like in Edinburgh, I have a bit more flexibility to also get people to challenge the way they think about something. Yeah. And I don't feel like I need that here in Vegas as much.
Yeah. I've only done very limited performing in the UK. And I don't know about you, but was it like different for you coming to the States? Because in the UK anyway, people were very reserved with their reactions to performance. Whereas in the States, people are very vocal. They want you to know that you're fooling the shit out of them. Yep. Did you have to adjust to that type of the audience reacting in a different type of way?
Oh, 100%. Like you guys are just, you're way more comfortable expressing, like you said, your emotions in general here. And even like things like therapy in the UK is not a big thing. People just are not good at dealing with emotions in the UK, right? They're very cold-hearted, like stony individuals who are just, But coming here and getting I'll never forget, we started in Fort Lauderdale with the Illusionist tour, and coming out on that stage, my act in the UK was like 15 minutes, and when I came here, it grew to like 18, 20, because giving more time for laughter, applause, gasping, people freaking out, right? And yeah, it's a different level here. So but it is also then great going back to the UK and working up material now, knowing that level on the barometer exists. If that's what you're going for, to go back to the UK and try and get new material hitting that level is a great learning of having been here and knowing that that's possible and finding ways to get an audience to that place. So I mean, ultimately, the goal, I don't think, is to fool people. It is to allow them to get that euphoric high of like, what is going on, to just have a real glitch in the matrix moment in their mind, right? And I want to give them that as much as possible because it is so rare now with movies, special effects, and I want them to feel it in real life, and I think it can hit different than any other types of forms of live entertainment, even comedy. I love comedy, but I think when you really learn how to make this stuff hit people, it's an event, and they remember it and treasure it forever, right?
Yeah. A couple of questions from the magicians on the inside, because I don't want to keep you too much longer. So I'm trying to get as many of these different topics as possible. When it comes to, let's say you are, I favorited a couple of these. York Spades wants to know, what's the best resource on beginner close-up mentalism? Do you have any good suggestions on that?
It's tough. I'll be honest. I struggle to find good close-up mentalism because, I mean, what I do on stage has taken me 20 years to get to that level, and it's made for stage, right? So to then try and replicate that off stage, I will say that I've always kind of struggled. I think, a couple of the best resources are like Chankanasa type thinking. Richard Osterland obviously has a breakthrough card system. I will be honest and say for the past 5 years, I've tried to stay away from playing cards because I think the last thing Limitless, the show, needed was me also picking up a pack of playing cards. When you've already got the master of playing cards standing right there, it's like, I'll leave that one alone. But I think there's some amazing stuff that can be done with playing cards. And I used to, for years, poo-poo playing cards in Magic. I'm like, why? If you could do anything as an actual real-life wizard, why playing cards? And then 3 events happened. One, I went to see Derek and Helder on Broadway doing Nothing to Hide. And I had never seen a show like that. It was just phenomenal. And then I met Ben Earl, and Ben Earl was doing some amazing stuff with cards that felt like real psychology, and that really appealed to me. And then my friend Ryan Davidson in Glasgow, who does a full 90-minute close-up show with just playing cards, and it blew me away. The story he told, the moments he creates, the reactions he gets from people. I'm just like, do you know what? Actually, there is real power in this object, that people do now associate with magic. So I don't put it down as much as I used to, having seen some of the, I just mentioned 4 of the best people in the world there, but other people with playing cards as well. It's incredible. So there's a lot of good playing card mentalism. But other than that, I think you want to watch, Richard Osterland's Perfected Center Tear, nail writing stuff, like that stuff done well. And then you look at the apps that are available on phones now, and it's just like, learn how to present those well, which for close up, I'm now still trying to get better at again because I've spent so long on stage. I think connecting with people, even when it's something simple, I'm learning. I always feel like it had to be as big as the stage stuff, but actually people just feeling a moment for themselves close up. It can be small. It can be, think of a number from 1 to 1,000, and I'm going to try and put it in your head and creating that connection with them. That's the really important part. And I don't put as much pressure on myself now to try and make it the same as what I do on stage. If anything, I try and make it as different as I can. But it's often the simple stuff presented really well, which is, again, what I'm still always trying to get better at.
Absolutely, man. And you mentioned something in there. You mentioned apps, obviously some technology with the phones. That's been an advancement. Another thing that's been very popular, and it's just a quick question from Brian Sanders out here. Being a mentalist, how annoying do you find the advances of AI? What are your thoughts on AI? Because it's definitely a thing, and even has bled into magic and mentalism in some small ways, thanks to people like Mark Kirstein and others. But yeah, how do you feel about AI?
Yeah, I mean, I did a show last year. I got the day after I finished at Edinburgh. We flew right to San Francisco. I was doing a show for Twilio, and it was like their AI launch of some part of their. So I had to actually wrap a lot of the presentations, aim it more at AI. And that was a year ago, right? So back then I wasn't really as up to speed as I am now on its potential. But yeah, I mean, potentially amazing. I will say that it's always fun to, when you're struggling with an answer for something, to ask, chat, whatever it is you're using on your phone to find out what answers it gives you. And I love then trying to disagree with what it says to provoke my own creative thought. I think I never want to use it as a tool to get lazy, right? I think when you're performing for people, you have a responsibility to share the truth of who you are or the way you want it to come across. And I think just having that write a script for you would be potentially detrimental. But I on the whole, it doesn't really worry me. I think, we went to the Sphere a couple of weeks ago and we were chatting to the AI robots and they were messing things up. And, ultimately, if they get put in water, we're going to win. So I'm not scared of robots taking over quite yet. But for now, but seeing what Mark does with AI is, I mean, the man's a genius, right? I don't use the word genius a lot. There are like 10 people in my mind that when I think genius in magic, the way that they're able to incorporate other mindsets, disciplines, like Mark is high on that list. He's just, the stuff he's done. Like when he first showed me Wikitest back in Blackpool, back in 2014, probably, I didn't quite comprehend how phenomenal of a breakthrough that was. And that knowledge obviously has pioneered so many other apps that we all now use and love. But Mark is brilliant. He really is brilliant.
Yeah. You mentioned the robot doing the AI stuff with the Sphere. The one thing about robots, though, Colin, that they'll never have a thing on you. They'll never have the hair of Colin Cloud. Between you and Shin Lim, you guys have the hair thing on point. Let's just say.
Yeah, that. I mean, Limitless is sponsored by Hairspray, so that makes sense. What I will say, it's funny though, right? A lot of mentalists, they've got as much electronics on them as an AI robot usually does as well. I will tell you, as the years have gone on, I have moved further and further away from electronics and mentalism. Even recently, and I'm not going to name it because I don't want, every situation, things change. And when we did the first BGT round, an element of technology that I was going to use sadly let me down in the performance. So I go to do something with Simon Cowell. I go into my pocket to grab something, and a piece of electronics hasn't done what it was meant to do. And I'm like, no. Now, luckily, being the paranoid individual I am, I had a backup ready to go. But it's just, and I get it. TV studios, there's 1,000 signals that are on now. And maybe when we rehearse, even though they were all on then, maybe someone's, you've now got 1,000 audience members in with phones and stuff. So it changes it. I get it. So I'm not blaming anyone. But I do always feel like the technology is stressful, and mentalism acts I know who use and rely on a lot of technology. I am terrified for them. I mean, there's that joke, right? How do you kill a mentalist? Push him in the bath 2 minutes before he goes on stage. But the older I get, I try and move further and further away from technology just because I find it really, really stressful. And the more I can just be in control. That's the thing, right? If I do a billet move and something's not where I want it, I know how to fix it. If a piece of technology goes down mid-show, I would have no clue what to go. I need to have a backup. And then I go, well, if the backup's already good, why not just make that the method and make it better and make it more invisible? I mean, that's not me. I'm not saying I don't use technology, but I use it as a last resort, is the truth. And even then, like I say, I have a backup. I do a thing with one electronic, primarily in Limitless, and a couple of times it's not worked, and I'm ready with a backup sitting behind that person that I can immediately hand them, and it looks like it was part of the presentation anyway. And it's a surefire thing. And the only reason I don't do it off the bat right away is for time. I use it as that sadly is the last resort. But yeah, as I get older, I love finding more and more ways to do this stuff without technology. And I think as technology becomes more real life, technology becomes more advanced, people can just maybe assume that anyway. Even for a while, I did my billet work with Sharpies, and people come up to me at the end saying, "Oh, they're special pens, right?" And I'm like, "Dude, if you could put that in a Sharpie, I would buy that immediately." And the reality is now you can get it, and I'm like, shit, we're gonna have to use golf pencils. So yeah. That's But it's exciting. I love it. Listen, I love it all. I buy most of it. I play with it, and then I've got a cupboard here that's open right now. If I could turn the camera and show you the mess that's on this floor, because Ben Hart and I were having a brainstorm session this morning, and we were going, what about this method? And what about that? Like, I love having all the methods to hand because I never know when I'm going to need them. What weird one-off project will, require that thing that you bought 2 years ago that's still in the box. And it's like the perfect thing. And we found that today by going through both of our cupboards, right? So I love it all. But when it comes to the stuff that I use day in, day out, like I try and keep that as bulletproof as I possibly can.
Yeah. I've got just a couple more questions. Do you have time for about 5 or 10 more minutes? Is that cool? I don't want to keep you. I know you're a busy guy. And thank you to the gal pal, your girlfriend over there, that's allowing you to hang out with us too. I know she said she's sitting over there, so thank you.
She salutes you. She is saluting you. She's literally guarding cats from jumping up on this board. So
that's what we want to see.
She's doing an admirable job. Honestly, if people sign up for the Patreon, they can see that bonus footage later. Am I right, Luke? I'm right.
Behind the scenes. You were just mentioning things about methods with the things that you do. Ken Dunn was also asking about, you're doing live entertainment on the regular. He wants to know, do you build in planned spontaneous moments in your show, ones that seem like they could only happen that performance? Are you also planning in, or how do you prepare for just random moments outside of the magic? Because there's anything can happen, especially in Vegas.
I actually do. I will. So in The Illusionist, I try to orchestrate moments where the audience members would apparently misunderstand my instructions so that they would look bad, so that I could kind of berate them and shout at them and make that funny. And it was, but then I realized, wait, if that was my mom on stage, would I want some stranger with a microphone treating my mom like that? And I then really scaled it back. So now I look at when I'm on stage, my job is to make everyone else on stage with me, another main character in the story. And I look at how can I try and make them look as good as possible. And now I try and orchestrate moments where they do things where they look like they've gotten one over on me so that they get a laugh. So that then at the end, when I reveal it, the pendulum swinging is even greater, because in the moment, it looks like they've made me mess up. And then at the end, when I'm right, it makes the reveal even better. Then we all win, right? So they look like the Joker, and then I look like, at the end, having saved the moment, and then ending like by shaking their hand, hugging them, whatever happens at that moment to thank them. I love finding those moments that seem organic. They don't happen all the time. I don't push them to happen. Like if they don't naturally happen, like there's one moment where I'm having the woman check for my Q&A act, like the bits of paper to make sure you can't see through them. And some nights, some women will like really spin the cards loads. And I love the line I get to say, whoa, what are you trying to be, Shin Lim? And I just, simple, silly joke, right? But just that moment of when they start really examining it, it just looks like a move Shin Lim would do. And then when I reference the fact that it looks like that, it gets a huge laugh. But I don't try and push the woman to do it. It's only when it happens organically, I'm ready for it. But I know that more often than not, it kind of will. But I love making these moments feel like it took me a while to learn how to deliver an ad lib, like you've never said it before as well, right? To pause for that extra half beat before you say it, and all that stuff, all that learning. Again, being around Jeff, David Williamson, Dan Sperry, and just learning like how to really use comedy and timing and pausing and moments of apparent thinking to your advantage. All of that stuff. But yeah, that the material I do at the Mirage, I'll be honest, I'll say it's probably 95% scripted. What I mean by that is the backbone's the same. The ad libs that I say for any given situation, like a million things could happen, but I've now pretty much, like I said, because of how long I spend writing, I've got a response for pretty much everything. And the other 5% are those golden moments that really do happen for the first time. And you say something that is just perfect in that moment. And I write it down immediately and, you hold on to it forever, use it next time potentially.
I remember being there one of the first nights you were introducing the fridge bit that you do, and I'm not going to obviously say anything, but
no, you can. I don't do it anymore. You can.
What? Okay. Since when? Like, have I been gone that long? Jeez.
I think we took that out last November.
Oh.
Like,
okay.
Not that November there. The November before. It's like a year and a half. It's been gone. I came up with this routine.
Damn.
So basically, obviously, Shin Show, I look at what everything he does that he's a master of, and then I try to look at what boxes are now not being ticked. And coming back after COVID, he took out a routine where he would use a kid. In my opinion, it had one of the funniest moments of any Shin Lim act that I'd ever seen, which is not mine to reveal. But I loved that he used a kid, and he took that out. And I was like, well, if you're not going to use kids, can I do a routine with kids? And he went, yeah. And because it was COVID times, distance, all that stuff, it was a confabulation where I brought a fridge door on stage, just the door on a stand. And I had the kids in the audience invent a crime. I think I said something like, Shin was inspired by, being a pianist, and I was inspired by detectives like Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot, Scooby-Doo. And that was kind of the lead into me then doing like this childish presentation of confabulation where the kids in the audience would invent a crime, where it was, what we were stealing, and what your, like, I think it was like your villain name, what your name would be. And then that was predicted in fridge magnets, movable fridge magnets on the other side of the fridge. And yeah, did that for a while. And I remember before coming back, buying like loads of David Kay lecture material and watching like the psychology of how you treat kids and thinking back to Williamson with the raccoon. And yeah, I never thought as a mentalist, I would do a routine with just kids. But I mean, you saw it, Luke, and I hope you would agree. It was like one of the funniest, naturally, like the kids, amazing. Yeah. Like it wrote itself. Like I couldn't prepare for that because every night the kids were so different. Their personalities varied so much. And I learned so much about how to deal with and handle kids in that environment. And it was amazing. It was a great new challenge for me, and it really was exciting. But then when the restrictions went away, we didn't feel it was the right tone for that part of the show. And we put my hypnosis routine back in because as the show gets to near the end of Limitless, it becomes a bit more intense, and Shin felt that vibe was better. I actually, the fridge routine, I couldn't do it at corporate gigs. So selfishly, I loved that I was doing a routine again that I could be practicing for corporate events. But no, it was great fun. And, a few people have said that they loved it and have asked if they can do it. And I've given 2 people permission, if they ever choose to do it, that they can absolutely have it because, it is great fun. I might do a version of it in a new way in my show, but it wouldn't be the fridge door. But still involving the kids, I think, because my show is 6 p.m. There's going to be kids there. I want them to feel included. I think it could be a fun bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, good to know. Two quick questions, and then I'm going to let you run. Number one, do you have any non-magic books that you think every magician should read? Do you have any resources that you just swear by?
Yeah, let me. Do you know what?
Take your time.
House, all my books are downstairs.
Yeah,
and then upstairs I keep like books that I like to kind of go back to. There's one that I'm trying to see. Why can't I find it? Oh, because it's over. Is it over here? Oh, I've had it. It must be in my dressing room at the Mirage. It's maximum. Well, it is kind of a magic book, but it's right here. Why can't I? This is the book that everyone should read. First of all, it is a magic book, but it's Maximum Entertainment 2.0 by Mr. Ken Weber. Sorry, let me get that. There we go. Better frame. But people often reference this book, but this is a sort of book where you can literally, read it once, take notes, and you'll massively improve overnight. But you can open this up to any chapter, and occasionally I'll just pick it off the shelf. If I'm trying to solve a problem, you go to the contents, and it usually it's covered. And this is a must-have for people. I'm just looking at what other books. This was another. This is. Here we go. This is on a lot of people's shelves right now, but just this book by Rick Rubin, The Creative Act, A Way of Being, and it's got like loads of different creative exercises that you can play with and toy with. It's fun. But on top of that, like when guys especially with things like comedy and stuff. These are some of the books that I keep to hand, like Ben Hart's book. I've mentioned Ben a lot, but he is brilliant. Piv's book, because it's just someone who's found their character and writes material for that. And then Nick Default, because the way he thinks about some of the way he handles people is very similar to me. And it was great to find that. And I just love picking up these books occasionally and going through them and getting into those people's heads. And often it helps me solve problems by thinking, how would Ben solve that? Or how would Piff solve that? Or how would David Gerard solve that? And it often speeds things up for me.
Cool. All right. And as promised, the last question for you is, let me just find the right person. Ken Dum again. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? I know this is not a job interview, Colin Cloud, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. I would hope. I've got a real hope of, what I'm about to embark on being well received, right? If we're back here again in a year and like, wow, that didn't go well, did it, Colin? Then that will be it's a bit of clip everyone will use everywhere, no doubt as well. Me saying that, but I'm really hopeful that the show I'm going to do in Vegas is my best of my best material, and thankfully, as much as I have insane imposter syndrome, the reviews that I've gathered over the years from doing that material has been like mainly 5 stars, a few 4 stars, with great reasons why on that night it wasn't a 5, and I've learned from that. But with all these other people believing in me, I think, I'm really trying to believe in myself and give this show everything I've got, both as a performer, material-wise, and all the strategies that I've created for Edinburgh over the years. I think by blending those all together, I really believe this Vegas show is going to be unlike any other magic show. It's going to be unlike any other mentalism show here, just because my way of thinking about stuff is just totally different, and thankfully has been well received by the public as well as magicians over the years. But I would really hope that in 5 years we're having another chat, and I love that room. So if I'm still in that room in 5 years, I will be over the moon. And if it's grown the way that people expect it to grow, then even better. But for now, I am just grateful for this moment. And I used to, as a kid, think, where do I want to be in 5 years? And like 10 years ago, I did think to myself, I want to be in The Illusionist. I want to do the Royal Variety Show. I want to live in America. And before I know it, like, click of the fingers, and I'm there and I have those things. And you kind of then forget about the journey. And I think as I've gotten older, I've learned to more appreciate the moment and appreciate the journey, because I now think back, and so much of that time is a blur, because I was so focused on getting to the end that the journey itself, which should have been fun and probably was fun, it's just kind of lost on me. And now I think I'm really learning to hold on to all these bits as well, and really value them as much as 5 years. So in 5 years, if I'm working in Starbucks, I'm sure I'll be loving it, having known that I at least tried to do. I mean, the risk of doing this show, the fear of that is nothing compared to the fear of never trying to do it in the first place. So that is ultimately what's getting me to the point of excitement with this, and it not being scary. But in 5 years, as long as I am healthy, happy, and in some way sharing mentalism with people, I will be over the moon.
Yeah. Well, I'll say one thing, again, just, from knowing you, the little that I do, one of the best things about you, I think I've known you for about the last 4 or 5 years. The one thing that's been the best part about you that I hope is also the best part of you 5 years from now, you haven't changed a bit. You're a freaking Vegas headliner. You're traveling the world, you're doing your thing, but you do it without 1 ounce of ego, or, you're just not walking around with a big head. That's impressive, my friend. Not just what you're doing, but how you're doing it. You're doing it in style. So
thanks, man. I mean, ultimately, we're doing magic tricks. We don't have real magic powers. We're all pretending to have a power, and it's like people are buying into our play pretend, and we're very lucky boys and girls, and the audiences, the fact that they appreciate it. We're so lucky. So yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, man. Yeah, I hope that that's what's helped me. Rule one when I do presentations live, I say, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick to the people that you're working with. Don't be a dick to the people that I've been on shows with. Don't just don't be a dick, and it will serve you well.
Yeah, absolutely. Where's the comment? I just saw it pop up. Scott says he doesn't have a big head, but maybe big hair. There you go.
There we go, Scott. Yeah. True.
Cool. Well, I'm going to let you run. One of the things I'm going to talk about after this is actually Tequila Hustler, which has some of your work in it. Which is pretty cool. But I'll let you guys get back to your evening. Thank you again to the girlfriend.
Yeah, I will just first appearance on camera. I will show this cat has tried so much to. And there's one in the background as well. There's one on the sofa. It's all going on. But yeah, these cats have tried to be gremlins this entire interview, and we've managed to do it without them scuppering it whatsoever. So yeah. But Tequila Hustler, yeah, Mark Elston, when he first showed me that, it was amazing. I did it when I was doing Zoom shows to start with. I did it in every Zoom show, and I did it with 4 people. I'm pressing my finger on my leg, and the one thing I will say to you is, by doing it with 4 people, the reason for doing a second round, my justification, I share this openly so that people that do it can use it. I would always say, look, 3 of you I know for definite, but 1 of you, I'm not sure. So for that, if I tell you who it is, you're not going to give off what I need you to give off. So all do this thing. I need you all to do it again so that the person who I'm struggling with doesn't know that they're the person. So switch hands or leave it where it is, and let's go again. And by doing it that way, it then made sense for why you were having everyone do 1 more round. And hopefully people that know it, that will make sense to you. And if not, I'm sure when Luke goes through it in a minute, by the end, you can find a way to maybe use that as well.
Sweet. Well, Colin, thank you very, very much for your time. I know you're a very busy guy. You have a lot going on. And again, congratulations on the new show.
Congratulations!
We've all been waiting for this moment. I'm not the only one that's thinking about when is Colin going to have his own show, because it was only a matter of time, and the time is now. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. And thank you everyone who's been here. I hope there was something of value in this, and yeah, just truly grateful of anyone who would take time out of their Tuesday night to come and watch me literally eat chicken and rice from Skinny Fats. So yeah, thank you for sharing in that with me.
You got it, buddy. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening and get ready to kick some ass at Harrah's, man. We all can't wait.
See you soon, man. I'll see you soon. Much love. Thanks, team. Bye-bye.
See you, buddy. All right. And that was Colin Cloud, the one and only, the man from Las Vegas that's going to have his own show on the Vegas Strip starting July 2nd right here over at Harrah's Hotel and Casino. I don't know about you guys, but I honestly can't wait. I loved him in Limitless, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing him in his new show called Mastermind. So thank you to Colin Cloud again for the time, and from all of us at All Things Magic, congratulations. We're all very happy for you. Yeah. All right. How about we segue from Colin into something that might not have been so fun for another magician. I've been enjoying the sake behind the scenes, so I'm having a good time. I hope you guys are having a good time. I wanted to show this from Jean-Paul Harrah. This poor guy, I'm actually going to set this up. This poor guy was doing a show in Chile. This guy is a magician from Chile, and he had something go wrong during the show that I have never ever seen happen in a Vegas show before. So not in a Vegas show, but in a show before. And I had to show that here. So let me get rid of that and that. And I really want you guys to see this because this is absolutely nuts on what happened to this guy during a show. So let me go back to the live. And I'm now going to bring you some footage of someone. First got hold of this from Richard Kaufman. And now... lentamente comienzan a girar sus pulgares hacia arriba. ¿Cómo le fue? You literally go from someone that's just about to have their own show and that's been performing all over the world to a situation, I don't know about you guys, I have never seen that happen again. Let's check it out one more time. This guy, again, his name is Jean-Paul Harrah. Was doing a performance in Chile. And check this out. This is wild. Windy there. Stuff's already blowing. Background, slowly but surely. So, the best part is no one was injured from this. The performer, no one in the audience, no one was injured. Thankfully, he was listening to the audience kind of react to what was going on and turned around, because if he had not turned around, I feel like that would have ended up on him, and that could have been pretty bad. So there you go. Very close call. It's like a Lance Burton escape when he's doing the roller coaster escape, right? The last moment ditch. Pretty wild stuff. So we're glad that he is okay. Is that why some say never perform outdoors? It might be, actually. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you, my friends. Pretty crazy, as York Spade says. That's scary. It really is pretty scary stuff. You know what's not scary, though? I think, because we've been chatting and we have so many great people here tonight, let's do a free magic giveaway. Welcome to tonight's free prize wheel. There's still some show to do, so we're going to go ahead and finish up tonight's show with you guys. If you're just getting here, be sure to say win in the comments. This is your chance to win some free stuff just for watching tonight's show. That really is that easy. So I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel here. Our first free giveaway of the night is for a magic download. We're going to get the whammy closer so I can have it go by me. In 3, 2, 1. Good luck, friends. Here we go. Sake is flowing tonight. All right. Here we go. Looks like we're going to have a winner. No whammy on this spin. The whammies mean there's no winner. We're safe this spin. And our winner is Mr. Richard Zach, a regular around these parts. Congratulations, Richard.
Congratulations.
Mr. Richard, you are going to pick up a free download. Our team will select just for you, but you need to contact us to get your hands on that. That would be info@allthingsmagic.com. Also wanted to let Russell in the chat know we have added you to the prize wheel. We have you up over there as Russell, just so you know, because I saw you in the chat room over there. Richard Zach, you have 1 week to claim your prize, and be sure you do it too. If you don't claim it by next week, then your prize is a no-go. So congratulations again to Mr. Richard Zach, our first winner of the night, which of course also means he's a winner chicken dinner. And I think Colin has some chicken in there, so let's do it right.
Winner, chicken dinner.
There we go. Congratulations, Mr. Richard, on being our first winner of the night. All right, we're going to go ahead and reboot the wheel. It's got all your names on there, including Mr. Russell, who I see in the Zoom room is making sure we got his back. And Russell, I got your back, buddy. So you are all set. All right. If you are just getting here, though, be sure to say when. And if you're watching on Facebook, do me a solid. Do two things for me. Number one, drop a like on the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, do the same. But also on Facebook, type this right here. Just type !notify. And every time we go live, right here, you will be notified about it, which is a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty rad thing that we do. It's a new feature, so if you haven't done it yet, type in !notify, just like that, and that will get you added up to our system that will notify you when we go live. Because we do these shows every single Tuesday night, 8:30 Eastern Time, right here for you. Not just the magic tricks that we talk about, but also the giveaways. Sometimes we have special guests, just like Colin Cloud. And yeah, so I can see some friends already doing the notify. I don't know if it matters if it is lowercase, the word notify. I'm not sure if that changes anything. So you might want to try it like that, just to be safe. I do have Richie on the wheel. I definitely have him on the wheel. I've got you over there. And Big Lou, I do have you on our Star Supporters wheel as well. So thank you all for your support when it comes to our Star Supporters. On the way out of our chat with Colin, I did mention something that we are proud to carry, and I thought it was only fitting that we kind of make a deal out of it today. This is called Tequila Hustler. It's a small booklet. There was an original concept by Mark Elsden, and there's no trailer for this, which is fine, because sometimes the good stuff, you don't have to worry about promoting it because word of mouth and the material speaks for itself. And this is a bit of it's a guess which hand type of effect. So it's, it wouldn't make too much of a good trailer anyway. But anyway, $30. This includes routines by, obviously, the man himself, Mark Elsden, Peter Turner, Mr. Colin Cloud, who we just spoke to. Obviously, in the magic industry, he goes by Colin McCloud to try to, keep those regular people, the muggles, from seeing his magic releases, and Michael Murray. So you've got three real big powerhouses, along with Mark Elsden, who's a powerhouse, coming up with multiple routines for the guess which hand effect that use zero electronics. Zero. No gimmicks as well, and no prep. So this is something that works with any currency, any language, anywhere, anytime. You can do it in person. And as Colin mentioned, you can also do this virtually. And as you heard him say, he performs this for multiple people at the same time, which is a pretty cool thing. So yeah, you're not only going to get the main routine from Mark Elsden, but additional thoughts and routines from Peter Turner, Colin Cloud, and Michael Murray, who are three giants, let's be honest, in our industry. So I wanted to share that with you as well. It's not a brand new release, but it might be new to some of you. And Colin Cloud doesn't publish or put out a lot of stuff. So I thought, let me find something of his that many people may not really know about. I feel like this has been out for a while. You do not want to miss this one at all. Jason says he used to open his show with this effect using custom-made wooden coins that he made with his laser CNC. So yeah, it's great stuff. And again, you can do this on the spot because there's no gimmicks. You can do it not just in person, but online as well. So there you go. It's amazing. Peter's insights are great. So you go from John Stevens, someone that has it, not just Colin's great work, but also Peter's great work, and Michael Murray as well. So $30 is a steal for this, honestly. So if you want to check that out, we got it for you here at All Things Magic. All right. And as a reminder, if you're new around here, we don't stock every new product that comes out. We are committed for the last 2+ years to only selling stuff that we believe in and stand behind. And that's something we're very proud about, because other shops, they just dump in all the new stuff, and it's up to you to figure out, well, damn, is it good? Do I need to go online and look at reviews? We try to strip all that away. And if something is on our site, it's there for a reason, because it's good. And if you have questions about any of the magic on our website, you can always use the magic questions feature at the top of our page too. We are happy to help you out, give it to you straight. If you want us to get something we don't stock, if we know what it is and it's not good, we will tell you it's not good. We are more about developing a relationship with you long-term than making a quick sale. That's not what we're about at all. We want you to feel like, you know what, these guys have our back. That's something I really, really respect. Because I would like that if I was in your shoes. So that's why I try to do what I do. The next thing that I want to share with you is something that is really good that just came out. It's very, very cool. This one is called Cubify, And this takes Rubik's Cube magic in a different direction because instead of just doing instant solves or the matching effect, this one allows you to reveal information that someone is thinking of or information that you aren't supposed to know with a Rubik's Cube by just mixing it up. So I'm going to show you a quick trailer of this. It's brand new. Comes out here from Paul Fowler and Kev G. Paul Fowler, I have loved his magic in the past. You know that, friends. I've loved his tricks, Transaction. I've loved his other trick, Overdraft. Very organic stuff. Transaction uses the receipts. You haven't seen that one. Jesus, it's so good. And the other one is Overdraft, which uses credit cards. This guy knows workable magic, and that's why this is great. Have a look now at Cubify. We'll be back. We're doing more giveaways. I've got one other pick of the week to tell you about. And hopefully we're going to do a big magic giveaway worth over $250. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I go to the side and got the A team.
You shouldn't do that, right?
It's rocking, man. Shape of you, loads of insurance wraps. Fuck, totally resets itself. No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's, yeah. Yeah, it takes it again.
That's so good.
Thank you.
Amazing.
So there you go, friends. I don't really need to say much more about what this is, but if it speaks to you, we are proud to carry it. It's very clever that not only does he use the cube to do the revelation, but also using the box, as you saw, I think, with Elton John there, the Rocket Man, where you put the cube in the box and then you fold over the flaps, and then that's the revelation. So it's not just the cube, but the box as well. It's all very well thought out. For 35 bucks, I feel like it's a very smart and a very affordable price for something like this. Because, you know, a lot of Rubik's Cube magic could be in the hundreds. This is 35 bucks. So there you go. Richie says, brilliant idea. Jason Gray says, it is incredible. It looks incredible. So yeah, this is a good one. And I know that you guys will enjoy it for sure. Something else actually in the minimalism world that is also back in stock, which also gives me a chance to let you know about our website, allthingsmagic.com. We don't just sell magic tricks. We also bring you magic news. Bring you magic news as well. Right down here, you will see that we were one of the first people to announce Colin's show last week, Mastermind. And we also have the trailer for that. May the 4th be with you. We brought that. Kurt Miller was performing magic for Han Solo. A nice little May the 4th be with you video. And we brought you the Jack Rhodes BGT footage recently as well. So we bring you also magic stuff, not just magic tricks. However, one of my favorite recent tricks in the minimalism world is back in stock, finally. Perception from Richard Griffin is a great piece of magic. A bunch of borrowed objects, you write down a prediction, and it matches every single time. I love this one a lot. It's been a pick. I even did a review of it. You can see it on the product page. That is also back in stock. Also, we have Jason R. Smith saying, this is off subject, but I want to give you a shout out for Phoenix. I love it. I wanted to let you guys know that missed it from last week. We are sharing an exclusive with Theory 11. We sold out from last week. However, we have more on the way, and they'll be here any day now. So if you would like to get Phoenix, click on the Email Me When Available tab, and you will actually be one of the first people to know when we have more in stock. This is the pin-through bill that you can also use a key. You could use other things other than just a pin. I want to say that. You pierce the bill. They can see the hole. They can feel the hole. And you visibly restore the hole right before their eyes with no switch of the bill at all. It looks so effing good. I also got confirmation yesterday. I don't know the when, but I was speaking with Worm, who was on the instructional for Phoenix. Worm let me know that refills for this should be available. I'm working on getting my hands on them for you, my friends, that have purchased this before. So if you're looking to do this a lot, I'm hoping to have an update on refills sometime soon for Phoenix. Jason said that this is a trick that it's always in his wallet. Now, this is not a pipe dream. This is really damn good stuff. He was showing this to people like Copperfield, Scratch and Said, people like Matt Franco. You can see the look on his face. Patrick Kuhn. This is the real deal. You literally can restore the bill right before their eyes. It is so freaking good. So be sure to use that because we have more coming in any day, literally in the next day or two. Don't miss out on this. This one is freaking great. So that is something from Jason R. Smith. Who's looking for the refills too. Yeah, I can see why. It's a great piece of magic for sure. So I wanted to share that with you out there. Okay. Something else I shared with you recently in the All Things Magic group. If you are not a member of the All Things Magic private group, you are all welcome to join. Now, we do have a big waiting list. We have moderators like Ron Jackson who are helping us go through those people that are applying to be in the group. But I did share this recently, and this one really kind of had me scratching my head at first. This is a self-spinning balloon ring because there's a hair dryer over on the side of the table. But this is really damn cool. Like, it's literally just a bunch of balloons and it just has them spinning around because of the airflow, which is a pretty cool thing. So I wanted to share that with you. It's kind of a magic-y kind of thing. And that's something else that we also try to bring you around here. So there you go. A cool little thing with the self-spinning balloon ring. And yeah, as they say here, we need more creative teachers. Yeah, you know, this is the kind of stuff that gets people really interested in oh God, I want to see that. Interested in magic or just thinking creatively, I should say. So I wanted to share that. Also in the All Things Magic group, we shared this earlier from Tommy having his taco dinner because obviously it's Taco Tuesday. We also had our friend Matthew Miller getting his biggest tip, a $500 tip when he was doing a recent performance. So that's pretty cool. Congratulations on that. Dave Garza was asking some advice on the stool when you sit on it. It's called the king chair, and then the thing pops up at the end. Had people like Chipper Lowell and others in there helping him out, which is cool. This was neat seeing the man himself, Mr. Dick Stoner, at 94 years old, performing a version of the Cups and Balls. You know, Dick Stoner has his business over there, Stoner's Fun Store, celebrating, I think, 75 years. Is it 75 years? In business. But anyway, it's just great to see him still behind the counter doing what he does. One of the really kind of not lost, but one of the last legends in this lost world of magic shops. You know, while we are an online shop, let's be honest, there's nothing like walking through a brick and mortar and seeing the cabinets, the shelves, the magic, and there's just a feeling about it. So super cool to see Dick Stoner doing that, even at 94 years young. So very neat stuff there. Also, Donald out there, a little AI Taco Tuesday for Magicians thing. That was fun. I showed you that earlier. Again, thank you to Colin Cloud for his time. I know we went over on time with him, so thank you, Colin. Our friend V hanging out with some friends in the DC area over there in Maryland. It's Ray Cosby with him, which is really cool. Our friend Ryan Daniels. Richie the Magic out doing some performances. It's always great to see what friends are up to over in the All Things Magic group. So also, again, last week we mentioned this. I want to mention it again. Our condolences go out to Megan Maloney. Within a 2-week period of time, she lost her mom and her dad. Didn't really get a chance to know much about her mom, but her dad actually visited us in the All Things Magic Lounge and hung out with us and was a great guy. And he will be missed. And thanks to him, though, Megan came to Vegas for the SEM convention and ended up meeting a bunch of us All Things Magic friends. And now she's part of the All Things Magic family. So his memory and his legacy will live on through her. And again, we want to send our condolences to Megan. I know that's not an easy thing you're dealing with. And we're still thinking about you, Megan, okay? Also to Ron Jackson. Ron Jackson's, he survived 5 tornadoes today. Ron is over in Kalamazoo, Michigan. They've got Tornado Alley going on. He's currently at home. He's safe and sound. So for everyone that's been worried about Ron Jackson, he's safe and sound. But, think about him too, because he's surrounded by tornadoes. Not fun stuff. Not fun stuff at all. So I want to share a couple things there. There's V hanging out in the lounge yesterday. And again, I wanted to mention this to you too. For the first time in a long time, I use the everyone feature on the All Things Magic group and never do that. But this is important to me. In the chat, you can also let us know, are you coming to Magic Live? I know not everyone comes to attend the convention. Some people come just to hang out. As a local, I've done a little bit of both. The reason I'm asking that question is because we are planning an event for August the 8th, which is the day after Magic Live. So if you're planning your travel, plan to stick around at least an extra day or two. August the 8th, probably in the evening is when this is going to happen. Last year, we had the Julio Montoro lecture, which was an All Things Magic thing that we did for you. This year, we have another lecture coming up. I'm not going to spoil it just yet, but we have a confirmed lecture for Thursday, August the 8th. I think the entry fee for that's $20 or $25. We're still working on the details of the where, but I did want to let you know, if you're coming to Magic Live, plan on sticking around a couple days after. We are going to do some All Things Magic stuff with you, and one of them is definitely planned for August the 8th. So be sure you are sticking around for that. We got you covered. All right, we got you covered for some fun stuff out there. So wanted to share that for you too. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun for our All Things Magic friends. All right, and everyone's welcome. Even if you're not in the group, you're still welcome to attend. Last week we attended the Paul Vigil lecture here in Vegas, which was great. And actually over the weekend, I went with my wifey and our friends Keelan and Angela, and also our friend Jason R. Smith. We were all there to check out Justin Willman over at the Venetian. So I wanted to bring you just a quick little footage of Justin Willman at the Venetian. So I got a little clip for you here. Let me find the one I want to show you. This one I want to do. So I will bring this up. This was him at the Venetian, and a great show. We all really, really enjoyed it. Also saw Mondre, Mr. Douglas, if you're out there. Saw Mondre there too, which was cool. But I wanted to share this with you, my friends. This is kind of neat to see Justin Willman play in Vegas as well, because you heard Colin talking about Justin. Thank you, Josh. Thank you very much. They loved him. They loved Justin. He was great. So that was kind of cool. I think I had one more little clip I wanted to share with you. We'll put together a little video sometime soon for you. But Justin's great with the audience, a lot of good audience involvement, which is cool. And here's another look at him on stage.
Borderline not family friendly, but you know what, Susan?
My son's here though, so
he was there
and this
watching? Okay, hi.
I'm going to pause it. This was a part in the show that he does, because on his series, Magic for Humans, he always did a segment called Magic for Susans. This was a Susan. She was the only Susan in the audience, so he actually did Magic for Susans for a Susan, which was fun.
He's heard this story before?
no.
Okay, well, sweet dreams, buddy. You still live in that house?
Yes.
You do? Okay, great.
So I wanted to give a shout out to Justin Willman on a fantastic show. Funny story, he actually invited me backstage to do a meet and greet I saw it when I was already having dinner with our friends Keelan and Angela, so we didn't get to meet up with them. But Justin, thank you for the hospitality, and it was a great show, and we are big fans of you. So if he's coming to your part of the country, he's doing his tour right now. Be sure to check him out. A great show, and it's great for the family. You can bring the young ones. I wouldn't bring anyone that's, I wouldn't bring a kid that's like in diapers, but if you've got a kid that's in that, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and up, you are good to go. A very good show. We all enjoyed that very, very much. So I want to give you that too. Very cool. Also wanted to let you know, unless things change soon, the wife and I will not be making it this trip. Claude Wyatt's also dealing with some stuff. We're not going to give his personal business here, but think about Claude. Send your positive thoughts and vibes to Claude. Claude is an old friend of mine, not just from All Things Magic, from long before that. Claude's also dealing with some real world stuff. And Claude, we love you, thinking about you, and this too shall pass. You know that. You know that, my friend. So want to give him some love out there too. Okay? Alrighty. I've got one more trick to talk to you about. It looks like we have met our goal. This is 98% there. I'm going to take a look behind the scenes to see where we're at for real. We're 102% there. We also had people that purchased raffle tickets, so we're more than over our goal tonight. So I do want to say a big thank you to all of our friends for that. We did meet our goal. We are going to be doing a giveaway for our star supporters. So thank you very much for your support tonight and every single night. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
All right. So stay tuned for our big giveaway coming up in just a few moments. I do believe we have gone through, if I'm not mistaken, I think we've gone through our free copies of Genie tonight. We're just going to confirm that real quick. I think we might have 2 or 3 copies left of the free Genie. So if you're spending $50 or more tonight with us at the All Things Magic shop, maybe this next trick will actually find its way into your repertoire. We are including a free copy of this month's Genie with Paul Vigil on the cover. Our friend and yours, Paul Vigil, is on the cover. Did a whole nice story on Paul. Thought it'd be fun to give away a copy with orders tonight. So I think we have a couple copies left of that. So if you want to grab one, spend $50, a free copy of Genie magazine goes into your order. The last thing we got for you tonight on the product side, product number 3 tonight, is a cool one. This is really cool. I had a chance to check this one out. It's a linking bands, rubber bands. What I like about it is you take the old idea of the linking rings and make it for something that makes a little bit more sense. Not everyone carries around rings, except magicians. Rubber bands, much more of a normal thing to see. So here you go, friends. This is the linking bands. Watch closely, though, because the way that the linking rings work, the traditional way, that's not what's going on here. Enjoy. There you go, friends. There's not much more to say than you can do the linking rings, but now with rubber bands. Here's also a quick little video of him doing it just to camera. You can see that each of the bands is solid, which is the real selling point about this. I also like that he's using larger rubber bands than the typical ones that you would use to do things like Crazy Man's handcuffs, but the really cool thing is this is something that literally can pack very small but play big, you know. And when it comes to performing for your audiences, but you can see just how clean it is, how open you are, and again, you're not using some of those traditional methods. You're using some other methods that are employed. But I will say that if you're familiar with like the Daniel Garcia method for this, that's not what's going on here. That's what I thought it was originally. So there's like no IT or anything like that involved. That was important to me because I thought that's not something I would probably do all the time. But you can see just how visual it is. And again, you can see all of the bands are solid at the end. So that's something I wanted to show you too, a little look at the full performance. And that is also on the website. If you want to watch that one a little bit closer, we have a full performance of it for you on the product page as well. So there you go. That's the linking bands. And that's it. That is it tonight. Let me just look at my notes to make sure I wasn't missing any other little things that I was going to tell you about tonight. Obviously, we had Colin Cloud on tonight. I told you about the balloons you can walk through, the magic accident, which again is pretty damn scary, but I'm glad that the guy's okay. And the biggest news of the night is we did hit our goal tonight. Thank you to Doug. See you, Doug Heitzman, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. We also received your stars as well. So thank you, Doug, for your support. There's Doug's name right there. So we did meet our goal. So we're going to do this right now. Thank you again to everyone. The goal was for, if we hit it, was for a $100 shopping spree. So one of you is going to receive a $100 credit to the All Things Magic shop. You can use it for any of the products from tonight or anything else you see. And also another $100 on top of that in free magic. We'll drop some really good stuff for you in as well. We'll get that shipped over to you. So that is something else we got for you. But it is time to find out who that is going to be. So let's do it. All right, so let me scoot out of the way while I give a quick thank you to some of our friends tonight. Our supporters include, but are not limited to, Dwayne Winstead, who's also been smoking a cigar during tonight's show. Mr. Derek Bumpus, much love to you and the Bumpus fam. Teresa and the fam over there. Jason Gray, Scott R. Smith, who's been really pumping us tonight. Thank you, Scott. Ryan Garber. Derek also purchased a couple of extra entries tonight. We got Richard Zach, Clint Henry, Yort Spades, who was our big winner last week, and it was his birthday right before that, so big winner. Richard Zach again, because he bought a couple of entries. Eric Elmore, Shack Attack, John Shackelford, Malik, Mr. Malik Haddadi, Kevin Clark, thank you, Mr. Kevin, Big Lou, Ryan Wallace, Jason R. Smith, Josh Huff, Brian Cornwall, Richie the Magic, courtesy of Scott R. Smith, Billy Effner, Michael Dawkin, Big Lou again, because he purchased multiple entries, Daniel Geddes, Mr. V, got V out there, Doug James, Sammy Hoxa, great to see you last week, Sammy, hope all is well. Richard Zach, one more time, he purchased 3 entries tonight, Josh Huff, and Doug Heisman, who was our last entry right there. So yes, Mr. Billy, we do have you on there tonight. All right. I think you got all of our names, including Brian, who said be sure to add me. I got you on there. So yeah, those are all of our friends from tonight. We got Derek over there who's crossing his fingers for a win tonight. So let's see who tonight's big winner is going to be. I do believe I missed one important person. That is Ralph Forbes. Mr. Ralph, my apologies. So I will add you in right there. Thank you, my friend. As you know, I am a one-man show, so thank you for your patience while I add all these names and try to get it right.
Thank you for holding. Someone will be right with you.
And David First as well. I am being told I missed David First. So thank you, Mr. David, for your support. All right. So thank you, friends. Thank you. Ryan Garber says birthday wins are always the best. Indeed. Yes, they are. All right. Let's do it, friends. Who's going to be the big winner tonight? It could be you. Let's see. Good luck. Good luck, friends. And it is Mr. Brian Cornwall. Congratulations going out to Mr. Brian. Let me find the congrats.
Congratulations!
And Mr. Brian, we need to get your information. Info at allthingsmagic.com. We're going to hook you up with some good stuff. Not only the $100 shopping spree, $100 on top of that of magic as well that will be shipped out to you. So congratulations one more time to our big winner of the night, Mr. Cornwall. You are the man that has taken home the big win tonight. You do have a week to claim your prize. As a reminder, if you don't claim it, then the prize is a no-go. So we do remind people about that. But right now, it is Brian's prize to win or lose, as they say. So Brian Cornwall, there we go. All right. And I think it's only fitting real quick, since it's been a long show, because we did have this man joining us, Colin Cloud, earlier, who was a wealth of knowledge and great information coming out of him, and very nice of him to answer some of your questions. But I think we should also go ahead and let's do one more quick free giveaway while we are here. So let's go ahead and mix this up and do it. Good luck, friends. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And a free win going to Mr. Mark McDermott. We're going to throw you a $10 gift card. You can also use that at the All Things Magic shop for magic tricks. You can grab some merch. We got the hats, shirts, hoodies, zip-ups, the whole thing. Got the beanies. Grab whatever you like, Mr. Mark. Congratulations to you. Drop us an email, info@allthingsmagic.com to snag your prize as well. You got a week to do it, so be sure to do it to it. So there we go. Our winners of the night coming your way. All right, then we'll reboot this for another day. So there we go. Magic in the air, magic in the air. And if you missed this earlier, this was an accident that happened. Crazy. Luckily he survived. He's okay. And with that said, we are crashing to an ending of tonight's show. So thank you for being here. We are going to scoot out. I'll be in the lounge for a bit. You guys are hanging out. It is our 24-hour live chat room. A lot of friends still hanging out. Thank you, my friends, for hanging out, for the questions tonight, and for being here. Always good to see you guys. I'll see you very, very soon. All right? And we'll also end on this. Ken Dum says, quote of the night, great advice, don't be a dick. Words to live by. Everyone should heed those simple words. Thanks, Luke. You got it. My pleasure to bring you people like Colin here. And yes, as a reminder, don't be a dick. Just don't be a dick. It's very easy to say, but some people have a problem doing it, which is just weird. Just weird. I don't know. Well, let's do it, friends. Let's get out of here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And we'll be back next week. Will we have a special guest? You have to wait and find out. But as always, we bring you not just the best magic tricks around, but the best people around, the best magicians, the best creators of magic. And you guys are the best for being here too. So thank you, and we'll catch you next week. Taco Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern Time, right here. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Malik. Appreciate you, buddy. Hello to you and Maya. And Malik, I know that your wife's had some losses as well. I want to send the love to you and the Haddadi family. Okay? Thinking about you, buddy. Glad you had a good time, Mr. Scott R. Smith. Magicians have enough magic, some neat personalities. That's true. Thank you, Ken. Thanks for looking out. I will get some dinner now. Thank you. Appreciate the love out there, Mr. Derek Holmes. Thank you, my friend. No recap tonight. Nah, no recap. It was too long of a show. We'll do it next week. Thanks for looking out. Still thinking about you, Mr. Claude. Everything will work out, bud. I'm sure of it. And yes, same bat time, same bat shine. Catch you guys next time.
Thank you, and good night.